So the Chinese government has plans to destroy Elon Musk's Starlink satellite. Me personally, I think it is kind of just ridiculous because there is over so far like 300 to 500 different satellites that the Chinese government would have to destroy. And the reason why they're destroying it in the first place is because of the potential threat of like privacy invasion and military UGAB. That's what they're saying, right? But it's all bullshit. We all know that like the Starlink satellite is a thing that is providing free internet access to people, right? And this is coming from a Western media company like the United States and stuff like that. Now, here's what I think and here's what I know. What I think is that the Chinese government is just being the usual Chinese government and is trying to censor the people from this internet access so they don't get exposed to Western ideologies and opinions. Typical Chinese government. But let's take a look at this article from the Gizmodo, one of the many articles covering this topic, and let's read some of its details. In anticipation of SpaceX's Starlink satellites posing a threat, military researchers in China want their nation to be ready to disable or perhaps completely destroy the gigantic internet constellation. It is an ominous possibility, but one easier said than done. Like I said before, one easier said than done. There's over 300 to 500 satellites that they would need to destroy. So this would cost the government probably millions and possibly billions of dollars just to destroy half of these satellites with missiles. That's not practical at all. In a research paper published in China's peer-reviewed journal Modern Defense Technology and reported on the state-run South China Morning Post in the past Wednesday, another article that was covering this. Wednesday led author Ren Yukashin, I'm sorry if I can't pronounce that, a researcher with the Beijing Institute of Tracking and Telecommunications, argues that the Chinese military should develop ways to counteract any threat posed by the Starlink. The paper was freely available as early as yesterday, but as of today it appears to be taken down. However, a translated version of our article is accessed here. You can go to the article and see the translated pronunciation. But yeah, that's kind of weird how they're just all of a sudden just covering up their own opinions, like as if it was just bullshit and they didn't want backlash or you know, people arguing, like an argument is, like they didn't want the rebuttal. Holy shit! So they had to take it down real quick. They didn't want the citizens to read it and be like, "Hey, this is bullshit." A combination of soft and hard kill methods should be adopted to make some Starlink satellites lose their functions. Like, I don't know how they're trying to destroy these satellites, but whatever it is, they better get creative. Like destroy the constellation's operating system. The paper reads citing hidden dangers, quote unquote, and challenges to China. You mean danger? The dangers and challenges are obviously the fact that China it'll make censorship a little harder for the Chinese government because free internet access that's supported by Western media. Yeah, the researchers behind the recent paper also warned the Starlink of going into an offensive and using the satellite's ion thrusters to knock China's spacecraft or satellites out of their orbits. Uh, if Elon Musk or the United States government were to even do that, like it would cause World War III or at least conflict. That doesn't make any sense. It's literally you realize that China is the only one complaining about this, right? Like all these other nations, they got permission to put these satellites in areas so people can get free internet access. If this thing is obvious, the only way I could see this thing possibly being a threat is that if its thrusters get pushed back into the orbit of Earth and come crashing into Earth. That's the only way I could see it. And either way, that would be kind of ridiculous because that would just be catastrophic to all over the globe, and that would be ridiculous. And obviously, like the United States government is smart. If they were to do an offensive attack, wouldn't you think they wouldn't want their name written all over it? Oh yeah, like this satellite, we invented it. Elon Musk came up with the idea, and some of our NASA researchers helped build this thing, and some of SpaceX's researchers built this thing, and we're putting it into the orbit. So we're just going to use it as a deadly weapon. No, that doesn't make any sense. The whole world will be pinning the blame on the United States because that's where it came from. That is absolutely ridiculous to even think of that. During war, one of the strategies is to interrupt the enemy's line of communication, but that's becoming a tall order in this area of mega constellations. Well, yeah, that's exactly what I was saying earlier. It's becoming harder for the Chinese government to do their, business, because like of censorship. Moreover, and McDowell explained that the Starlink provides an inherent advantage for those who have chose to use it. I don't think it's seen as a threat. It's seen as more of an asset, he told me. Following the support of Ukraine, yeah, this satellite was used in the support of Ukraine. And isn't it kind of weird how China is an ally of the Russian government and, like one of the only allies of the Russian government? I may rephrase that. Because the Russian government is getting their asses clomped by the Ukrainian government because they suck. Um, and it just gets snuffed out the competition. But the Chinese, isn't it kind of weird how the Chinese government is like, hey, we hate this satellite, we don't like it, it could be a war threat, when their allies are getting their mud fucking stomped into they're getting their heads stomped into the fucking dirt. Like they're just trying to help. That's literally what they're doing. They're just trying to help. And yeah, let me just keep reading this. Following the support of Ukraine, Musk was vocal about the potential for the Starlink to be targeted, by the Chinese or Russian government. If you attempt to take out the Starlink, this is not easy because there are over 2,000 satellites, but there's a total of like 300 to 500 satellites in the area that China would need to take them out as. That's what I believe. Well, that's what I've heard. This is not easy because there are over 2,000 satellites. And that means a lot of anti-satellite missiles. Like that would be millions and billions of dollars of costs, obviously. Musk said in an interview with Business Insider in March. I hope we do not have to put this to the test. I hope we can launch the satellites faster than they can launch their anti-satellite missiles. So yeah, overall that's pretty crazy. Like realizing the fact that most likely the Chinese government is only saying this because of two reasons. The fact that they're trying to help the Russian government, of course, because, well, they're getting their asses clomped, as I said before, by the Ukrainian government that has, like, SpaceX is supporting the Ukrainian government with these satellites that give them free internet access for communications, etc., etc. But however, the Chinese government also fears of privacy and aka just screwing with their censorship. They want the people to be censored. And that's exactly what they want. What they try their hardest to get. That's what they do. But nowadays, as the eras go on, the Chinese government is going to learn eventually that they can't censor the people forever. People are people. They're not livestock. They don't just roam around not knowing what the fuck is going on until the day they die. People are people. They will figure out this eventually. It doesn't matter, like most of the people already do know this, and people who seek refuge and get out of the government and move to somewhere like the United States or Canada or somewhere else, they express their opinions because they're fucking allowed to. And if they were to do that in China, they would probably get arrested, like abused, beaten, tortured, possibly killed. That's how fucking crazy it is. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. As I said before, I'm posting more often about news and updates on this channel. And make sure to follow my Twitter. I do updates of videos on both of my channels, so yeah. And make sure to subscribe so you always get notified when I upload. And yeah, like the video if you enjoyed. Peace out.